Am I on? Yes. I'd like to call to order the April 18th, 1924 meeting of the South Carolina Public Charter School District. Before we start, I'd like to welcome those in the audience who are here with schools that are seeking approval and authorization, and we will welcome you each as your school comes up. We want to thank you in advance for all the work, tenacity, vision, and commitment that you've shown in coming to this point. For the invocation, I'd like to call on Mr. Dexter Davis.
May we pray. God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the safe travels and the passageway to get here. We thank you for leaders that you have equipped to lead in such a time as now in our state specifically. Continue to bless our Madam Chair, our Ms. Superintendent, as we try to redefine the education that you allowed us to steward in our state for the scholars that we have an opportunity to impact. May we influence our state beyond expectations. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Now, Coach Strickland.
All right.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And our Secretary, Randy Page, will read the Charter School District's mission statement.
The South Carolina Public Charter School District authorizes, champions, and supports the creation and advancement of innovative K-12 public charter schools that provide access to academic opportunities for every student in South Carolina to reach their fullest potential.
Thank you, Randy. And now we'll proceed with the roll call.
Okay. Mr. Butcher. Mr. Butcher is not present. Mr. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Davis is present. Mr. Gilchrist. Mr. Gilchrist is not present. Mr. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Miller is present. Mrs. Mosteller.
Present.
Mrs. Mosteller is present. Dr. Pope. Dr. Pope is not present. Dr. Strickland.
Present.
Dr. Strickland is present. Madam Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to the consent agenda. I need a motion for the approval of the agenda for today's meeting, April 18th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 That sounded like an aye. Okay. We'll just,
Jonathan's here. Okay.
okay, no, he's not here. Now, next, we need approval. We need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the March 14th, 2024 meeting.
So approved.
Thank you. Do I have a
Second.
second? Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 So who is?
That's Jonathan.
Okay, excuse me. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. Hold on just a second. Now we will move into a time of public comments. Has anyone signed up for any public comments?
Chairman, they have been.
Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to go into an executive session for the purpose of charter school contract reviews.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will now
Aye.
go into executive session, which we do not anticipate being very long. During executive sessions, there were no votes, of course, taken, and we now need a motion to return to public session.
So moved.
All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye, thank you. Oh, he's not, okay. We're waiting on one more. Jonathan, okay. Are you looking for a pen? I think this is mine. Well, you need a pen. Okay. Is Jonathan with us yet, or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you. We will now move into action items. We will first hear a presentation by John R. Payne, Deputy Superintendent for Sponsored Performance on Low Country Montessori Renewal Contract. Thank you, John.
Madam Chair, Superintendent Neely, members of the board, today we bring before you action item A, Low Country Montessori Renewal Contract. As you recall, in February 2024, just a couple of months ago, you approved the 10-year renewal contract for Low Country Montessori. Since that time, the district staff, along with working with our council and the school, have negotiated an acceptable contract. The school has now signed their contract, which is in your packet. So today we respectfully ask for a motion giving Chairwoman Mosteller the approval to sign and fully execute Low Country Montessori's 10-year renewal contract.
Thank you, John. I want to just ask, do we have anyone here from Low Country?
No, ma'am, I
No.
don't believe
Yeah, I
we
didn't
do.
think so. I didn't think so. Now, I would ask that we have a motion to approve Low Country Montessori renewal contract. We need a-
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Second. Thank you. The motion is on the floor, and we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions pertinent for John Payne or our Superintendent Neely on this issue? If not, we will put the motion to a vote. All in favor of approval of Low Country Montessori renewal contract, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it all. Thank you. John Payne's up again. He won't be sitting down for a while. The next issue is action item B, Discovery Workforce Spartanburg, the application and the issue, I suppose, of the withdrawal of the application.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, Superintendent Neely, and trustees, today we bring before you action item B, Discovery Workforce at Spartanburg's charter application. In your packet, you should find a memorandum and attachments for this application. On March 12, 2024, the founding committee formally requested to withdraw their application to the district for the 2024 application cycle. After considering the timing and interest in promoting a more robust partnership and program, the applicant decided to withdraw its application to be better suited for a successful submission at a later date. In consultation with legal counsel and in a review of this applicant's request, staff recommend that the District Board of Trustees accept and approve the withdrawal of Discovery Workforce Spartanburg's application for the 2024 cycle. Therefore, we request a motion to accept Discovery's 2024 withdrawal from the 2024 charter application cycle.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. We need a motion to approve that staff's recommendation and Discovery Workforce's decision to withdraw their application at this time.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. I will restate the motion. I think we have no discussion, so we will simply have taken the vote, and we thank you, Mr. Payne.
Thank you.
Good question. Is Jonathan with us, do you think? With Trudy?
Is Mr. Butcher on the Zoom?
Is he there? He's there. Okay, okay, good, thank you. Next, we will move into our first school for the day, Greer Preparatory Academy application. And the Chief of Authorization and Development, Kristen Farmer, will make that presentation to the board. And I'd like to see if there are any members from Greer Preparatory Academy here today. We thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to this time together. I know you worked a long time to get to this moment. So we need a motion. So you were going to go ahead and present, and then at that conclusion, we will have our motions.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Neely. First, I'd like to welcome the 4 applicant groups here with us today. As a reminder, and for new board members, the protocol for each application will be as follows. First, I will present the application summary and staff recommendation, followed by a request for a board motion. Next, the charter committees will have the opportunity to make a 10-minute presentation to the board. After the presentation, we welcome the board to ask questions of the applicant group. And finally, the board will be asked to vote to approve or deny the application. Trustees, you were provided access to the charter applications in their entirety and capacity and review recordings. The final recommendation reports are included in your board folders. Please turn to the Greer Preparatory Academy report as I provide an overview of the application and notable elements. PCSD staff recommends that the District Board of Trustees approve the charter school application received from Greer Preparatory Academy. This recommendation is based on comprehensive and rigorous analysis of the educational, operational, and business plans of the proposed charter school, as well as from a review of the information provided. Unless otherwise specified, the application meets all applicable state and federal statutes, regulations, policies, and procedures governing South Carolina public charter schools. Greer Preparatory Academy, or GPA, submitted a charter application proposing to serve students in the Greenville County area. If approved, GPA intends to enroll 150 6th and 7th grade students in its first year and up to 750 3rd through 8th grade students at full matriculation. GPA will serve as a feeder elementary and middle school for Greer Middle College Charter High School, a high-performing school within the PCSD portfolio. The school's mission is to produce well-rounded students using a proven classical instructional model and curriculum, core knowledge, through collaborative, engaging, and character-building opportunities. The application provides details about community members, parents, business leaders, and elected officials who publicly support the proposed school, as well as 400 survey responses from families with age-applicable children. Key findings related to the educational plan include students developing a sense of responsibility for their learning, in turn building the knowledge base and critical thinking skills to prepare them for the transition to high school. Daily supplemental instruction periods designed to address remedial needs and advanced instruction, setting GPA apart from other schools. Teacher flexibility in teaming activities and other unique strategies to move students forward academically. Goals with specific, measurable objectives focused on building a solid foundation of student knowledge, and strategies to meet goals that are research-based and driven by student performance. As to the applicant's organizational plan, notable findings include a governing board of 6 elected and 5 appointed members, an administrative structure that includes an executive director, a principal responsible for executing day-to-day school activities, and a director of enrollment designated to communicate school activities to the community and promote the school. Key elements of the business plan include a financially sound budget that supports the school's vision and mission, with budgetary projections derived from data from the existing school, Greer Middle College. Addressing transportation challenges by providing early morning drop-off hours and allocating funds to help students who experience barriers. And finally, a facilities plan, using classrooms at Greer Middle College for the first 5 months and then moving to the permanent site with a newly constructed 50,000 square foot facility on 52 acres, including an academic building and a gym. Based on a thorough analysis, the PCSD team has determined that Greer Preparatory Academy demonstrates the capacity to sufficiently implement a high-quality charter school with a likelihood of success, and therefore recommends approval of the charter application subject to the statutory requirements to negotiate an acceptable contract, pre-opening conditions, and any applicable addenda. We respectfully request a motion to approve the application from Greer Preparatory Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. We need a motion to approve Greer Preparatory Academy's application.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for Greer Preparatory Academy.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite Jimmy Armstrong, Executive Director of Greer Middle College, and representatives from Greer Preparatory Academy to join me at the podium.
Just for the record, I'm not Jimmy Armstrong. Madam Chair, Superintendent Neely, and trustees, I'm Donna O. Smith, and I am the chair for the Greer Middle College. On behalf of our board, which is also acting as a planning committee for Greer Preparatory Academy, we are pleased to have the opportunity to discuss the need of Greer Preparatory Academy. I have served on our board since 2014. As this has been a 6 to 7 year process, our board did not take this decision lightly. In conjunction with completing our Greer Middle College building program, we have seen and heard the need for an elementary middle school near GMC. Our board of directors believes the culture, the climate, and instructional model of GMC should be replicated in a place like Greer Preparatory Academy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I'd love to turn it over now to our Executive Director, Jimmy Armstrong.
Thank you, Donna, and good morning, and thank you for the opportunity of being here today. We're before you to briefly share our story about Greer Preparatory Academy. And before we go through that, I wanted to introduce a couple of people. First, I'd like to introduce Mason Southern. Mason is a freshman at GMC. He's going to talk about his experience in transitioning from a traditional middle school to GMC.
Good morning. I'm Mason Southern, a freshman at Greer Middle College Charter High School. I'm on the media team, student government, and along with youth and government. I didn't have the best experience attending my local middle school. This was due in part to large classes and the negative attitudes surrounding teachers and students. I felt my middle school academic motivation was lacking, but at GMC, every student is excited to come to school because the teachers are inspired to teach. The academic rigor at GMC is exceptional, and if the opportunity was offered at a lower level with the same culture and academic climate, I would have been more prepared to be a student at GMC. Saying my high school experience is better than it would have been at any public school is an understatement. The people at GMC make me feel like I'm coming into a positive environment every day. If this was offered earlier at the elementary, middle school level, students would get to experience this, and it would help more students excel in the classroom. I thank you for the time and the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Ms. Kim Hall. Kim is a former parent of 2 GMC graduates, and she is now a potential parent of her youngest child that may attend Greer Prep.
Thank you so much. I'm a little short, so here we go. We have twins who have graduated from Greer Middle College, both of which achieved an associate's degree while in high school, and a proud mommy moment. One was just accepted to Dartmouth to get his PhD, and he leaves in the fall. Wow. These two, my twins, were very gifted academically, and the accommodations at Greer Middle College met those needs well. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And of course, that's proven in a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in 4 years at Clemson. And with great grades also. But then we adopted a little fella who also has challenges in the opposite direction. He has a 504 from diabetes, and he also has an IEP, and he struggles with every part of academics. And I feel that it would be so incredible if he could have an opportunity to be in an environment that meets these accommodations, not only for my highly gifted children, but for my one who will need additional academic assistance. So I am highly recommending this school and the need that we have in our area because of the large growth in our area. It would be really hard for these kids that need academic supplemental help to be met without some type of additional help. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kim. So let's talk a little bit about Greer Prep and the we believe are strengths. One is the location. We're in the upstate of South Carolina. There's about 1.5 million people in the upstate. In Greenville County, there's about 550,000 people. There's 100,000 students in Greenville County if you include private, charter, traditional, and the like. There's about 100,000 students there. There's almost 34,000 students under the age of 5 in Greenville County. So as part of our charter submission, we noted that the number of seats, because Greenville County Schools was kind enough to do a planning study for us. I'm just kidding. But they did a planning study, and in that planning study, they noted that the number of seats that were available in Greenville County Schools, they're going to need over 9,000 seats. So that availability, the need is showing in data from multiple areas. So our unique offerings, we have a classical model approach. And so if you're not familiar with that, it's at the elementary, it's a grammar foundational approach. Then it's the logic in middle school, so the students start to learn the why behind it. And then it's about the rhetoric in high school. And that's the critical thinking and the speaking piece. And that lends itself to what we do at GMC, so the transition is smooth. You've got the big umbrella over 2 schools of a classical model of grammar, foundational, logic, and then the rhetoric and the critical thinking and speaking. And then we've got in there about the curriculum and core knowledge, where we're going to use the majority of the core knowledge curriculum. We believe that fits well in visiting schools that are in the upstate that use the core knowledge curriculum. What you see is, you see students learning, but it's sequential, it's stacked, it builds on itself as they go through the grade levels. And then what I like about it is the curriculum, it's a pacing guide, but within there, in that pacing guide, it's got a remedial piece. And that remedial piece allows for time that students, where you recognize that early, because we're going to have team meetings at that school, you'll recognize early instead of it being October, November, December, where you catch them late. I don't like that. I like to be proactive, where you catch them in August and September. And that it lends itself for that. So that's why we like the core knowledge curriculum. And then parent involvement and the student support. We want to replicate what we do at Greer Middle College at GPA. And our parent involvement is, to me, is second to none. And so when we have a parent conference and we've got IGPs and you've got 100% of our students and parents attend those conferences, we want to replicate that at GPA also. And so that time will be there when a student can lead that conference. And I'm certain that with the right leadership, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but the right leadership, students can lead conferences when they're in the 3rd grade. It can be done. My boy tells me what he needs to improve on, and he's a 5-year-old, and what he's doing well. So I know it can be done in the 3rd grade.
Does he tell you what you need to improve, or has he
Sometimes
gotten
he
to that
does,
stage yet?
Yeah, sometimes I don't kick the ball right, and then he gets on to me. So yes.
Yeah.
The culture and climate of GPA, we want, that starts with me, but then it starts with that building leader, and we want somebody in there that is going to be able to replicate what we're doing at Greer Middle College, to have that same culture and climate. You have somebody out there that's greeting students, and you're saying, good morning, how are you doing, and you're talking to them, because mommy and daddy may be going to work and they're not connected in the mornings. And so you've got somebody there, and it starts in the classroom, it starts in the hallway, the whole deal. So the culture and climate's important to us. And then the other piece to that is about collaboration. We have a little bit of that at Greer Middle College, to where we're collaborating. Our high school teachers collaborate a little bit with our college professors at Greenville Tech, at the Benson campus, but the collaboration piece now can go from elementary to middle and high school. And so that transition, we don't get that because we're pulling from 6 or 7 middle schools to Greer Middle College. We don't get that. We're going to be able to do that. So we're going to have a good transition, vertical alignment. Those of you that are in education and the curriculum, it fits, it works well. So what are we doing well, and what do we believe as far as capacity goes? Our strengths, Donna mentioned this, it's about our board. Our board, we've got board members that have been on the board for 10 years, and maybe one that's been on more. We've got also the breadth of, Donna's a broker in charge. We've got CEO of hospitals, CEO, COO of the airport, CEO of banks, vice presidents of banks. We've got people in education. We've got retired veteran. We have got a very broad spectrum, and they work well together. I wouldn't be here if they didn't work well together. So they work well together, I can say that. The capacity of our leadership, as far as the administrative side goes, is really good. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm also talking about our finance. Our director of finance is a CPA. She was over a firm as far as the operations go of it. We have got, even our front office person has got 28, 30 years of experience. She knows how to handle people, adults, when they come in, and how to talk to them, and handling that kind of stuff. And so the enrollment, director of enrollment, director of development that we've got, all of these people can transition to where it's over 2 schools. And so we've got the leadership in place to where that can be handled. And then talking about the student support and transition, the student supports that we've got in place at Greer, we want to replicate that at Greer Prep. And that includes having help before school, during school, and after school. And it's important that we recognize, and especially in this early age, you know, we all know that the gap can widen quickly, especially during the summer when they don't receive help. And if they're already behind during the year, we can't be that way. We've got to recognize that they're not behind, and we've got to close the gap so that we know what's going on, and so that we can help them during the school year, so that that gap does not widen during the summer. And I think that's important, and that's what we want to do. And then the transitions from 8th to 9th grade, our team at Greer Middle College, we're going to do a presentation about this to SREB during the summer, because we feel like we do it well already, even though we're pulling from 6 or 7 middle schools, that when we have our own school, that transition is going to be really good. And so it's not only, you know, y'all see a transition from 5th to 6th, but then also that transition from 8th to 9th, and making sure that those kiddos that come to Greer Middle College for high school, that it's well, they feel comfortable coming in. They've already got friends. They know what's going on when they hit the high school, and it allows them, when they get older, to take college classes too. So in summary, after a 6 or 7 year process on our end, we are excited and happy to offer Greer Preparatory Academy as part of the South Carolina Public Charter School District's portfolio of schools. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions that the board members would like to ask the leadership? Yes, Dr.
I have a
Pope.
question. I represent the South Carolinites of Black School Educators, so my questions are geared toward equity. How can you describe the demographics of the school to show that there's no divisiveness, that all races are included?
Right. So I'm going to have to go on what's within Greenville County Schools, because I don't know who's going to attend there yet. And so in that area, it's about 14-15% minority. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at things over that first 2 or 3 years, and I think we put that in the charter application. And in the 26-27 school year, we're going to review where we are as far as attendance goes. And then Ms. Farmer talked about the transportation and eliminating that barrier. So that's one of the things that we want to eliminate. And then we're going to look at that to see if we have, we're not going to be able to do a bus stop in every place, but there can also be pickup points. And so we're looking at the Travelers Rest area, the Greer City area, because that's still not as far away. Travelers Rest is a little bit closer. And then the Taylor's area as possible pickup points for that school.
Madam Chair,
Yes, yes.
I applaud you for your intentionality with the accountability for your educators. That is paramount in public charter school education, being able to hold our educators accountable, and you've got a good plan. I'd love to see that be carried out. So thank you for adding that to your plan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other, yes.
Yeah, I have a question and a comment. I see on the budget that you're going to enter into a $22 million line of credit. Is that for the 50,000 square foot new facility?
Yes.
Okay. With that, is that the total amount that you're going to borrow to furnish and everything that you need to complete that for occupancy?
We, that right now, yes. We have written a grant with the program and implementation grant that hopefully some of that will help us with it. But for right now, that is what we're looking at. We're having construction meetings, and so that's, and we're having the finance meeting at the same time. So the plan is to do that. It may go up a little bit, but the intention is the 22 million.
Okay. Well, my comment is, with the budget, I think it's one of the most well-done budgets for a charter school application that I can remember. And I know you have the Greer Middle College experience there. So I think it's very encouraging to see. The budget is not aggressive. Actually, it shows a net loss for the first couple of years. And sometimes we see very aggressive budgets, and you just wonder what they plan to do with all the money that they may make. But I just appreciate the thoughtfulness and the thoroughness, and I believe that your budget is conservative, albeit we don't know what the total amount of that loan and debt service may be.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a quick comment.
Yes.
As someone who lives in Greenville County, very well aware of Greer Middle College, and had the opportunity to interact with a number of your students quite often, and very, very impressed with the product, and very pleased that you, even though you have a choice as to where you're going to come, that you chose the South Carolina Public Charter School District. And thank you for coming and presenting to us today.
Thank you. Yes,
Yes.
Coach.
Jimmy, see, your son tried to tell you, what he needed to do. Many years ago, I tried to tell you some things, and I'm glad for preface of this, Jimmy, I've known Jimmy and his family, I guess about all his life, right? And he was a high school student, and why you are an educator, Dr. Pope, is you always see people out in public and you say, oh, how bad was that person? Well, everybody's very proud when you have someone like you to stand before us, and I'm very proud, and that's why we all become an educator. So thank you for what you're doing for that school and various schools that you've been in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I have a quick question. It's kind of following up on what Kip said. I know that in your submission on page 30, it says by fiscal year 2028, the school will generate a net income of at least $200,000. Can you just comment on that, how you?
Right, well, this is in talking with our CPA. We felt comfortable with that. It may, and this is also knowing, you don't know what your budget is each year either, your per pupil amount. You don't know that. So we felt comfortable with that projection, even though it could be more, because I think we planned that for a 3%, 4% increase each year from a revenue standpoint. So that's where we came up with that.
And I had one other question. On page 8 of the submission, it talks about a core knowledge with a strong emphasis on character building skills. Is there a curriculum that you use for that, or what?
Right. We are looking at one of our schools nearby that has a character leadership curriculum. And so he and I are talking and negotiating, and we'll see how that goes. But we think that is really good, and we're going to have that as part of a class at the middle school level.
Good, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Now we'll just, yes. Excuse me. Oh, Jonathan. Jonathan, do you have a question?
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
No questions.
Okay, no questions. Okay, you got off easy. He's a hard questioner. With that, we will now proceed for the vote. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the Greer Preparatory Academy application.
We have that motion.
We have the motions. We just need to
I'd like
ask
to
for
make
the vote. Excuse me.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that for the approval of each of the schools that are before us today, that we do that by roll call vote.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Yes.
Need a second?
Second, yeah.
Thank you.
And then we would need to
You're gonna
vote on
call-
that.
Yeah, we need to vote on that.
We can do that by voice vote.
Voice vote. All in favor of a roll call vote, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, for the roll call vote then for Greer, Mr. Butcher?
Yes.
Mr. Butcher votes yes. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Davis votes yes. Mr. Gilchrist? Mr. Gilchrist not voting. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Miller votes yes. Mrs. Mosteller?
Yes.
Mrs. Mosteller votes yes. Mr. Page votes yes. Dr. Pope?
Yes.
Dr. Pope votes yes. Dr. Strickland?
Yes.
Dr. Strickland votes yes. Madam Chairman, you have a unanimous decision.
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So we do the motion, then we do that, then we hear from them, and then we got the roll call.
to get out a little bit. Thank you. We will now move in with another presentation from Kristen Farmer on Palmetto Career Academy, their application.
Okay. PCSD staff recommends that the District Board of Trustees approve the charter school application received from Palmetto Career Academy, or PCA. PCA submitted a charter application proposing to serve 320 6th through 9th grade students in its first year, adding a grade each year until it reaches full enrollment, serving 560 students in grades 6 through 12. If approved, this workforce and career-focused school will be located in the Hartsville area of Darlington County. PCA's mission is to provide students with a personalized, life-enriching educational experience through career exploration and teaching foundational skills that will prepare PCA graduates for post-secondary opportunities. Key findings related to the educational plan include career-focused education that provides opportunities for internships and apprenticeships through local industry partnerships, as well as senior business projects, which allow students to gain real-world experience and develop skills relevant to their chosen career paths. Mastery-based learning, where students progress at their own pace and demonstrate mastery of skills and knowledge before moving on to the next level. And partnerships with area colleges will provide dual enrollment opportunities for students, allowing them to get a head start on their college education. As to the applicant's organizational plan, notable findings include the plan to transition to a 9-member governing board in the first year of operation, a school director with oversight and authority over school employees, a director of operations, a middle academy administrator for grades 6 through 8, and a senior academy administrator for grades 9 through 12. And targeted outreach initiatives to engage families from diverse backgrounds within the community to ensure enrollment closely aligns with the demographics of the local school district. Key elements of the business plan include community members with extensive financial expertise and the capacity to balance a fiscally conservative budget with successful growth. Potential financial contributions from the Byerly Foundation, Sunoco Foundation, North Industrial Machine, and other local corporations to assist with initial startup costs as well as ongoing expenses. To ensure transportation is not a barrier for any student, PCA will explore options such as the PD Regional Public Transit and a grant to purchase a bus. Finally, 3 possible facility options include a temporary location on the campus of Coker University until the new Florence Darlington Technical College Hartsville location is complete, a large facility on Highway 51, which would provide easy access to the school from all surrounding counties, and a third option, placing modular units onto the Coker campus as a temporary site. Based on a thorough analysis, the PCSD team has determined Palmetto Career Academy demonstrates the capacity to sufficiently implement a high-quality charter school with a likelihood of success, and therefore recommends approval of the charter application subject to the statutory requirements to negotiate an acceptable contract, pre-opening conditions, and any applicable addenda. We respectfully request a motion to approve the application for Palmetto Career Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. We need a motion to approve Palmetto Career Academy's application.
I will move that we accept the Palmetto application as submitted.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, now they get to come up. Okay, good. Okay. We look forward to hearing from the board, administration, and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us this time to speak about Palmetto Career Academy. I'm Vaughn Cranford. I am the chairman of Palmetto Career Academy. Come with me on a journey into the future, where we witness a remarkable vision unfolding, a vision of what education can truly be, embodied in the story of Palmetto Career Academy. Picture a place where success isn't measured by just one standard, but by the collective achievements of parents, teachers, students, and economic partners alike. Palmetto Career Academy stands as a beacon of hope and opportunity in this landscape. Parents, bustling around the community, brimming with excitement as they share the news of their children's educational journey at PCA. It's more than just a school to them. It's a promise of a brighter future. They're thrilled knowing that their investment in education will pave the way for their children's success, equipping them with the skills and confidence to thrive in the professional world. Within PCA's walls, teachers are not just educators, they are facilitators of dreams. Empowered to innovate and inspire, they nurture individual talents, fostering a personalized learning experience for each student. It's a place where creativity, collaboration, and flexibility reign, ensuring that every child is set up for success, both academically and personally. But perhaps the most touching perspective comes from the students themselves. To them, PCA isn't just a school, it's a second home. A sanctuary where they're encouraged to explore their passions and chase their dreams. Surrounded by a culture of growth and self-discovery, they embark on an exhilarating journey of learning, embracing each day as an opportunity to unlock their full potential. And let's not forget the invaluable partnership between PCA and its economic allies. Together, they form a bridge between education and industry, shaping the future workforce and driving economic growth within the region. Just like a coach goes to high schools and recruits athletes, businesses eagerly seek out PCA graduates, recognizing them as skilled and motivated individuals who will shape the future of their companies. In the end, Palmetto Career Academy is more than just a dream. It's a beacon of hope, a testament to the transformative power of education and collaboration. With its unwavering commitment to the quadruple win, which is what we're calling it, PCA is poised to inspire and uplift all who have the privilege of being part of its community. And at this time, I'm going to pass it to some other board members so that they can follow through.
Thank you.
Hey. I'm Brandy Johnson, board member for PCA. I would like to talk to you for just a minute about our mission. We feel very strongly about our mission, and at Palmetto Career Academy, our mission is to provide students with personalized, life-enriching educational experience through career exploration and teaching fundamental skills that will prepare our PCA graduates for post-secondary opportunities. We learned that our community resonated with this when we went public with our plans. We received an overwhelming response with requests for more information from our parents of our potential students. This has led us to doubling our initial projected enrollment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Morgan Morrison, Associate Director of Compensation at Sunoco Products Company in Hartsville, South Carolina. Wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about the values that Palmetto Career Academy will bring to Hartsville and the surrounding areas. As the slide says, it's going to be focused on educating career-minded students for success by being curious, showing kindness, creating community, and inspiring creativity. We're excited about that our students will be encased in a world of education that doesn't stop with a book or a computer. Our strategic partnerships with community members and businesses will further strengthen students' career readiness. And as an HR professional at a Fortune 500 company, I can tell you that it is something that is duly needed in our community. As we see our workforce aging, we are going to need people to help produce the products that Sunoco sells to so many world-class organizations, and look forward to providing not only my children, who are now sixth graders, with the opportunity to learn, but all the students in Darlington County and the surrounding areas. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jamie Kelly. I'm a local entrepreneur, business owner. I formerly worked at Sunoco Products Company, but for the last two decades, I have run several businesses inside of the Hartsville community. So I want to tell you a little bit about our story and how we kind of got to this place. The PCA idea was actually formed more than a year ago from a conversation from several nonprofit organizations. One that I founded to assist my son's elementary school in the things that our local school district can't or won't do. And we, the Byerly Foundation, I had asked them to come in to see if we could partner. And unfortunately, they're not really willing to participate in things with the school district anymore. And we felt like we had to reach the limit of what we could do to improve the students' lives and prepare them for success. So this moment here for me today is a very proud moment because I'm so appreciative of all of the team members that have dedicated the last more than a year of their lives to really build together a comprehensive plan. We have, in just a little bit, you're going to see a little bit about our board makeup, and you will see that we have a very wide-ranging group of individuals. And we have formed what we believe is a plan. And just on a personal note, I have 2 children, and the first child, it's the experimental child. And so my current freshman is not going to be really happy when my 5th grader becomes a student at PCA and is really set up a little bit better for success than she had. So I will spend the rest of my life apologizing for that. But we, part of our partnership, and you'll see this on our budget, we're very fiscally conservative and our numbers are where we feel like we can be, but that's thanks to great partnerships like that with Florence Darlington Technical College. So I would like to take this opportunity and introduce Dr. Ford and let him speak for a few minutes to kind of attest to that partnership that we want to see.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Chair, Board, Superintendent Neely. Florence Darlington Technical College is very excited about this moment, and I'm going to tell you why. We work with all of our charter, public, private, homeschool. The reason is we have to provide a quality education that leads to postgraduate success to a family-sustaining wage with no debt. Parents want options, and Florence Darlington Tech is very excited to make sure that we partner in with this new charter school, hopefully that will be coming forward, with what we call our Early College Academy. The Early College Academy is housed in a way that once a 9th grader starts, by the time they're in their senior year, and when they graduate, they will graduate with their high school diploma from PCA and their Florence Darlington Technical College degree. Now, we're not talking about degrees that lead to low wage, low demand. We're talking about degrees and certificates and technical diplomas that lead to high wage and high demand that add to that family-sustaining wage. Family-sustaining wages mean many things to many people. If they're taking care of one child or 2 children or an adult and a child, so that family-sustaining wage means something different to that home. But the most important thing is we're looking forward to create greater economies of scale where people can use those wages and disposable income, because who wouldn't want to go do a restaurant or some additional things that they want to do with their family, like a vacation. So we're excited to partner with PCA. We partner with all of our businesses in the region, and it's all about pipelining the talented workforce. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Gaskins. I'm a retired educator of 42 years. I was an elementary counselor and a high school counselor in the Hartsville area. Some of the board members were students of mine at the elementary school level and at the high school level, so that's how old I am. And I can attest that I've done many IGPs. So I understand clearly the need for that connection between education and the workforce. I'm here to speak to you about our timeline. The goal is that this school will be up and running July of 2025, but that means if we get your approval, that we got to put our tennis shoes on and get going, because we've got a lot of work to do. And that would start in July, this July. Well, actually, it's already started, but we would begin having informational meetings and getting the information out to civic groups, to industry, to the community, to the parents, and sell our school, because that's going to be the key to the success of the school. Then we would go into September. Applications would be due in September. October, we would make the announcements of acceptance, and we'd get signed agreements between parent and students. November, we would have waitlist offers. December, we would be recruiting our faculty members, and that's the key to any school's success, that faculty. January, we would make faculty offers, and again, we thought January was a good timeline because if you've ever worked for a public school, you know they get those letters of intent and you sign that contract. It's real hard to back out unless you're moving to another state. And then we'd be ready to go in July to open this school. We thank you for your attention. We're excited in the Hartsville area about this opportunity, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Jo Nelson. I am an owner of 2 businesses in Hartsville and have worked in the legal profession as an assistant for over 20 years with a local law firm. I'm also a parent of a child who actually listened to my speech this morning, gave me some pointers as a 12-year-old. She's very excited about the school, so she wanted to have her input today. I could talk to you about the board. I could tell you the 26 plus years of experience in education. I could tell you about the extensive financial management knowledge, the philanthropic, innovative individual we have, the legal entity specialist. I could tell you about the division vice president of a Fortune 500 company. I could tell you everything about our board members, but let me tell you what I don't know that you're seeing in the application that we have provided to you. The PCA board is a diverse board that ranges from experience in education, Fortune 500 company management, to small business ownership. What you may not realize is that PCA has 6 members that have or are serving on other boards and community organizations, members that serve as trustees of major corporations. 4 have served in advisory council positions. 4 have master's degrees, and 2 in the works currently. 8 have bachelor degrees, 3 with backgrounds in education, 2 that have served as future leaders in our state, 1 that was the recipient of the Ambassador Award for the year, 4 that are certified professions in their specific fields, and at least 5 that have and are planning to enroll their children in PCA. Each member brings a significant expertise to the board that will not only serve in the establishment of our school, but lead to the organization of education and work experience for our students. We're a board that knows what is needed for our community, what is needed from our graduates, what is needed from our graduates of our public education, and what is currently lacking in our area. As an owner of a business, I can tell you it is major. The transition from education to workforce is significant, and maintaining that workforce is a significant lack that we need to gap. PCA will offer that bridge, that gap, the bridge and that gap for the education that they receive, to apply that in the workforce. In closing, we're asking you to see that there is a need to close the gap. There's a necessity to have ready workforce individuals who have gained the experience during their high school term to become successful individuals in our workforce area. We hope that you will approve PCA as a new school.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Okay. Kristen? Okay. Now we have a motion on the table, and now we'll proceed with discussion.
I'd like to,
Comment?
Madam Chair, as you grow, and having been a part of the Liberty STEAM Charter School, which is not too very far from you, in our infant stages, walking the streets, having board members willing to walk door to door to pass out flyers in this day and age, send emails, whatever the case may be. Make sure your board members are on board to do that, put a little feet on the ground, but excited about what you have. Now, is there another plan there if you don't get that bus?
For us in our community, I currently I'm on the board of trustees for the local hospital. I'm the chair of the board. And one of the things that we realize that we have is a gap in underserved areas, and how do we go? And so we actually are going to use some of the things that they've learned and then kind of replicate that for us. And so they realize that in our community, like the interfaith ministries that we have, that's kind of going to be the key for that. And so obviously we wouldn't want to like cross any lines as far as like the religious and the public school type thing, but we do know that that is the key to being able to provide that transportation a lot of times for those students. If you ride around Hartsville, you'll see, it's easy to see 15 to 20 buses that are empty. And then we do feel strongly that we would be a recipient of the grant. The Byerly Foundation was a part of our initial meeting, and then she had to recuse herself so that there wouldn't be a conflict of interest. So we're exploring a lot of opportunities. My philosophy is that you always go into a situation with a plan A through Z, and then maybe even in like the double letters. So we have an exhaustive list of things that we feel confident. It's really going to come down to, that's why we also backed up that timeline a little bit so we can have a better assessment of like what those kids specifically need. And then we have the time and the flexibility to make the changes to meet the students where they are and to get them where we know they can be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
I think this question may be for Kristen Farmer. In approving these plans, there's no place that you look at for diversity and inclusion before you approve the schools application?
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Is there any place in the plan that you look at that shows diversity and inclusion as being a part of their plan?
In the application you're asking?
Yes.
That would be in the enrollment section. And
So if they say they're trying to provide transportation, that's supposed to be the only thing they need to include to show that they're trying to be diverse in serving the population of the area they serve?
no, they discussed the initiatives that they would, the targeted outreach.
I thought they're supposed to mirror the population that they serve.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's the expectation in the Charter Act, yes.
But there's no way of seeing how that's going to be done, or if it will be considered, because I know we have a lot of schools that come to us for approval after they've been started that don't try to meet the diversity and inclusion concept.
Yes, ma'am. So when we came in for our interview, we did have a representative from Darlington County Economic Development, and they had the latest numbers with them about what the dynamic is. It's pretty much, it's not exactly 50-50, but it's about half and half is what the population of our county is, local area. And so our plan is to fill the spots accordingly.
Okay, does that include the board and the staff as well?
Yes, ma'am. Yep, this was a planning committee. So the board of directors is here. We actually had a team of 25, 30. So we do have a diverse group, lots of different representation on the board and the planning committee. So it's just a team of people that we have. Yeah. And then our plan is, and Joe will have to correct me, I don't want to misspeak, the first year, we're going to transition the board?
Yeah, so unfortunately, what you're seeing right now is a working board. We all have permanent jobs that are outside of the realm of organizing the school. So taking off time of work was very difficult for our team. We all have to go back to something, and so you actually can't see the diversity, but it actually is there. You know, we have a well-diverse board. Our committee is actually more diverse. We have talked about the needs that are in all the community outlying areas. We're more concerned, I'll be honest with you, with a diversity of farming kids more than we are of inner city kids, because we know that those parents are getting their children to school. We've watched that in surrounding charter areas. We actually have most of our schools, if you look at them, the students are, for the majority, are getting to school through parents in our county. In fact, our buses in Darlington County are used pretty much for all of the schools, including the high school. So we have one set of buses for all of the county because the majority of our students do have transportation needs. However, we do know that there are students that do not. So we've addressed that with the transportation needs to get those. But our concern actually is the students that are not as close in the school area to be getting the availability to come to the school.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
To lean in that a little bit more with Dr. Pope, the area that you serve must reflect the demographics of the community, and that just needs to be clearly understood. Dr. Pope,
Yeah.
if you will.
If if it's in that section, if it's supposed to be an enrollment, then if it's written there, then I wouldn't, I would understand that it's something that will be looked at. But there was no way, clearly in the last two applications, I saw that the district is looking at that before they approve it.
Yes, ma'am.
But
So, Dr. Cook, that is part of indicator 5.6 of the charter application, and it's found on page 97 of the applicant's application. In addition to that, there is this charter requirement that they have to mirror within 20% of the population. So not only has the group committed to doing that, as an additional step, as we do for all schools, we monitor all schools to make sure that they're within that 20%, or if not, work with them to develop a cogent plan to come into compliance with that 20% requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Any other
And that-
questions?
And that is, Madam Chair, yeah, I noted that when I read through that, page 4 under enrollment, that PCA commits to enrollment that closely aligns with the demographics of the local school district within a deviation of more than 20%. To achieve this goal, PCA will implement targeted outreaches and issues to engage families from diverse backgrounds within the local community. So, I mean, and I know it's difficult, but, I'm in agreement that,
Maybe if you spelled out what diverse backgrounds mean.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned something about rural and inner city, and I was thinking more in terms of the demographics in terms of race.
So as I've said, Darlington County is about 50-50, and we've got actually a multilingual population that's coming in more now. So our goal is, we have lots of events planned to reach out. We've already actually had a number of parents from all backgrounds, all races, who have requested information that they want to send their student here. I will tell you that our goal is to make sure we're not looking for the highest of the high or the lowest of the low. We want those who need and benefit to be prepared for careers. And in Darlington County, that tends to be that middle group, that middle population, and that is all races. That includes all races. There is no bias. There is, if you are applying, we're going to make sure that we have the percentage that meets it, and if one goes over than the other, then that's a wait list until the next one is filled also. They'll be placed on a wait list. So we are determined to make sure that we are mirroring our demographics as closely as we possibly can up to it.
Thank you.
So that is one of our goals, to make sure that we are reaching.
Thank you.
I was just going to make a comment. I think for me, this application really speaks to what a school is, and that is a community. And I know firsthand, because Dr. Ford is here, and I believe I know what he believes, and it's aligned with our beliefs. He was the first college president in this state to open his doors and meet with us about our workforce centers of excellence. And he already had a model school in mind, and that school is extremely inclusive. It is founded on the principle that all kids need to be prepared for work and careers. And I believe that this school, because they do have great diverse support among the community and among organizations and businesses, will reflect the diverse nature not only of the act, but of what we expect when it comes to a school that is intentional about closing the achievement gap in South Carolina. Dr. Ford?
Thank you, sir. Superintendent Neely, one of the things, and to the board, In Darlington County, with a population of about 60,000 people, what we find in the demographics is A, there are more women than there are men. B, if you look at the percentage of minority with demographics in the region, it's about 48, 49%. But there's another layer in here that we have to take into the equation. There are more than 20% in Darlington County, a little bit more than 20%, at or below the poverty line. Now, that right there is when I talk about a family-sustaining wage with postgraduate success, with little to no debt. We have got to address those that represent under the poverty line to make sure they have equitable opportunities, and that's all the residents. So we really are excited at Florence Darlington Tech with this partnership, because we have to really address that, because we're talking about people that don't know how to even get in the door to break the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does is it provides access into, with all of the skills, to have a family-sustaining wage day one, but we're not going to stop there. We want to know, if you came in at $35,000, how do we get you to 50? How do we get you to 60? So I'm excited about the Darlington region, specifically in the Hartsville area, and I'm excited about this project. And knowing those demographics, I want you to really keep that in mind. We need to look at not just race and the gender, but let's talk about that poverty line. We have to make sure that all the people, who doesn't want to be able to take better care of their family? So thank you, board, for allowing me to share those words.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would like to say that I really applaud your efforts to teach soft skills in school. You're preparing the children, the students, to enter into the workforce after the 12th grade or go on to the university. And so having a high school focus on soft skills is so tremendously important in today's business environment, as well as universities. And sometimes students come out of the university not prepared, even with soft skills, with resumes and understanding that they're going to have to contribute to their health insurance, and they're going to have to pay taxes. So teaching the things that you're going to be teaching, I would just say, and you may have this plan, it's just not in writing, but be sure to include soft skills for actual workforce. And I know that you have Sunoco and other business representatives on your board. I think what we see in business today is with these young people coming on board with companies, sometimes they expect a participation trophy for showing up on time and for working all day. And what we see is they'll work a couple of weeks and they'll take a day off. And so it's just those skills, those expectations when you're in the workplace. They can have all the knowledge in the world, and they can speak well, and they can fill out a resume, but what happens after that? And so if we can go beyond that scope and teach the skills as well, so that they perform well and continue to move on in their career. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very powerful.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a quick comment.
Yes.
Having served on Governor Beasley's staff a few years ago, I heard about all things Darlington and how much he loved Darlington and the struggles and concerns and problems and kind of his vision for Darlington County. And so it's really a pleasure for me to be able to sit here today and to hear your presentation and just appreciate your passion and your desire to help students in Darlington County succeed. And again, thank you when you had a choice for choosing the South Carolina Public Charter School District. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now we'll proceed with the vote. Any more questions? All right. Okay. Now we've had a motion on the floor, and now we will proceed with the vote.
Okay. Mr. Butcher?
Yes.
Mr. Butcher votes yes. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Davis votes yes. Mr. Gilchrist? Mr. Gilchrist not voting. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Miller votes yes. Mrs. Mosteller?
Yes.
Mrs. Mosteller votes yes. Mr. Page votes yes. Dr. Pope?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dr. Pope votes yes. Dr. Strickland?
Yes.
Dr. Strickland votes yes. Madam Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
Yes.
It's on. Thank you very much.
All right, we on a roll. We move from Lafayette to Darlington County.
No matter what I
Direct
put on.
line, right?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't put something.
Wide open.
Oh, yeah, just very rude, very rude.
Yeah.
I don't think I have it.
Okay.
Okay.
John called you about.
Lafayette.
You remember he called you about.
Raging.
We'll let him
Yeah.
get out a little bit.
I remember.
Billy Napier.
Yeah, he's doing a good job down there. No, he's in
They
Florida.
have the opposite problem. They're divisive too.
Hearing that last presentation from that wonderful committed cohort makes me think of the verse, to have a future and a hope. And that's what really this is about, creating that future and a hope. Now we will go to PD, Innovation and Leadership Academy application. Kristen Farmer.
PCSD staff recommends that the District Board of Trustees approve the charter school application received from PD Innovation and Leadership Academy. PD Innovation and Leadership Academy, or PDILA, submitted a charter application proposing to serve students in 2nd through 6th grades in Lake City and the greater Florence County area. If approved, it intends to enroll 120 students in grades 2 through 5 in its first year and add 6th grade in its second year of operation, serving 320 students at full build-out. PDILA intends to address the challenges associated with the limited educational options in the community and the fact that the needs of a significant portion of its student population are not currently being met. PDILA's mission is to cultivate world-class learners by empowering students with the knowledge, skills, and global perspective necessary to excel academically and thrive as engaged citizens in an interconnected world. The application highlights the Charter Committee's ongoing comprehensive community outreach and support, as well as the support of families who have indicated they want to enroll their children at the proposed school. Key features of PDILA's educational plan, critical to the success of the anticipated population of rural, low-achieving scholars, include smaller class sizes, allowing for more individualized attention, and an extended school day and year, providing additional time for instruction, interventions, and reinforcement of foundational skills. A research-based curriculum emphasizing mastery, teaching, and remediation, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and technological literacy to prepare elementary students to be successful 21st century graduates. and cultivating leadership skills and positive school culture through leadership development and family and community engagement. As to the applicant's organizational plan, notable findings include a 13-member charter committee with diverse backgrounds, skill sets, personal and professional experiences, and social audiences, each with direct connections to the Lake City community. An administrative structure that includes an executive director, a dean of students, and a dean of academics. To gain insight, shape, and refine the plan for PDILA, committee members met with 5 charter schools focusing on schools with programming aligned with PDILA, such as Liberty STEAM, Butler Academy, and Green Charter School. Key elements of the business plan include a dedication to prudent fiscal management and maintaining high-quality school operations through a continued commitment to a healthy and balanced budget. A 10-year budget plan forecasting an operating surplus each fiscal year of the charter's duration, ensuring consistent delivery of services to students and providing financial flexibility to address changing programmatic or student needs. And PDILA is exploring all potential facility sites within the Lake City area that will enable it to provide a flexible, interactive, and supportive learning space. 3 facility options are presented in the application. Based on a thorough analysis, the PCSD team has determined that PD Innovation and Leadership Academy demonstrates the capacity to successfully implement a high-quality charter school, and therefore recommends approval of the charter application subject to statutory requirements to negotiate an acceptable contract, pre-opening conditions, and any applicable addenda. We respectfully request a motion to approve the application from PD Innovation and Leadership Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Farmer. Do we have a motion to approve PD Innovation and Leadership Academy's application?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Okay, now we'll move into discussion.
I'm going to invite the PD
Yes.
Innovation
Yes.
and Leadership
Yes.
Academy group.
Excuse me. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Okay. I'll just start my introduction. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Sharon Williams. I am the Planning Chair for PD Innovation, Leadership, and Academy. I would like to take this moment to introduce the remaining of our Planning Committee. I have with me Ms. Erica Bell, who is our co-chair, and she is an instructional coach in Lake City, South Carolina. Sharika Anderson, she is a finance director in a local school district. Dr. Cheryl Hubbard George, she is Director of Special Education for Department of Juvenile Justice. Alexandria Harrison, she is with the Greater Lake City Community Resource Center. Ms. Roberta Burns, she is the CEO of Second Floor Media. Frederica Presley, she is with Clemson University Youth Development 4-H program. Ms. Brenda Woods, who is a retired educator with over 30 years of experience in Lake City, South Carolina. Bishop Amos Major, who is a pastor. And Mr. Nick Washington, who is not actually in attendance with us on today. It is indeed an honor for us to be before you today, and we bring you greetings from Greater Lake City, South Carolina. On today, we have provided for you a video. One, because we're all very nervous. We did not want to try to remember slides, and we didn't want to take the chance of someone going over the 10 minutes. So without further ado, I hope that our video will provide adequate information for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am proud to introduce PD Innovation and Leadership Academy, transforming education, empowering communities. Are you ready to embark on a journey of innovation, leadership, and artistic expression? Step into a world where every child's potential is nurtured, where learning transcends zip codes, and where communities thrive in a school by the community, for the community. Welcome to PD Innovation and Leadership Academy, PDILA, the beacon of change in Greater Lake City, South Carolina.
In the heart of the PD region lies Lake City, South Carolina, a vibrant community steeped in history and brimming with potential. The greater Lake City area is home to approximately 6,000 people. Diverse and inclusive, this population comprises 70% African American, 24% Caucasian, and 6% other Asian and Native American populations. Lake City has the advantages of small town life with the convenience of major metropolitan centers just a short drive away. Lake City is proud to be home to South Carolina Farmers Festival, South Carolina Tobacco Festival, and Art Fields. But alongside its rich heritage, Lake City faces challenges that demand innovative solutions. The unemployment rate in Lake City is approximately 22%, and the high school graduation rate is just 72%. The percentage of students identified as college or career ready is 42%. This poses a significant challenge for the city as there are not enough graduates equipped to sustain the growth of major businesses and industries. The current state of public education offerings presents a concerning scenario as well, characterized by limited choice and modest outcomes. With 40% of students testing on grade level district-wide in ELA and another 24% testing on grade level district-wide in math within the local public school district, it is evident that there is a need for a new and innovative approach. The creation and establishment of a public charter school in Lake City, South Carolina, with a specific focus on innovation, leadership, and the arts could bring about a range of positive impacts for the community, including diverse educational offerings, creative critical thinking, leadership development, community engagement and support, and finally, preparation for the 21st century graduate. As the founding chairman of PD Innovation and Leadership Academy, I, along with the planning committee and other community leaders, recognize the urgent need for transformation in education. That's why at PD Innovation and Leadership Academy, we envision a future where every child, regardless of background or circumstance, has access to a world-class education.
Core beliefs serve as the moral and philosophical framework upon which the entire educational experience is built, shaping the school's culture, practices, and outcomes. At PD Innovation and Leadership Academy, we believe in partnerships, where we believe that parents and the community are our partners, working towards the same goal of educating young minds. Commitment to excellence by going above and beyond minimum requirements, fostering an environment where both students and educators are encouraged to push their boundaries and achieve their full potential. High-quality teaching that involves employing effective instructional strategies, staying updated with educational best practices, providing meaningful feedback, and creating engaging learning experiences catered to diverse learning styles. Holistic student approach that addresses students' intellectual, emotional, social, and physical needs. It involves nurturing not just academic achievement, but also personal growth, well-being, and character development. Shared leadership that distributes decision-making and responsibility among various stakeholders, including administrators, teachers, students, and community members. It fosters collaboration, inclusivity, and a sense of ownership, leading to more effective and sustainable educational outcomes. By embracing these core beliefs, PD Innovation and Leadership Academy can create an environment where every student has the opportunity to thrive.
I'm excited to introduce to you the Falcon Difference, distinctive elements that set us apart and ensure success for our students. Let's dive into what makes PDILA the premier choice for families in Greater Lake City. Small class sizes. With a maximum of 15 students per class in 2nd through 6th grade, PDILA offers an intimate learning environment where every child receives personalized attention and increased teacher-student interaction. Our commitment to meaningful teacher-student interactions fosters deep understanding, enhanced learning outcomes, and positive relationships that inspire growth. Flexible school schedule. From earlier starts to later ends, PDILA's flexible schedule accommodates diverse family needs with before and after school enrichment programs. Comprehensive curriculum.
PDILA's holistic approach to education ensures a well-rounded experience with a ready curriculum that's thoughtfully designed to meet the needs of every learner, eliminating the need for pick and pull resources. Leadership focus. Through our Leader in Me curriculum, we empower students with essential leadership skills, social and emotional learning, and opportunities to engage with their community, fostering a culture of responsibility and character development. Specialty enrichment. From the arts to elementary career and technology skill builders, PDILA offers a range of specialty enrichment programs that prepare students for future careers in healthcare, manufacturing, retail, and beyond that will build and sustain our community. Parent accountability. At PDILA, we believe in partnerships with parents. Our parent accountability measures encourage active engagement, from attending conferences and volunteering to supported student goal setting and creating a nurturing home learning environment. See, at PDILA, we're not just educating students, we're shaping leaders, fostering creativity, and preparing the next generation for success in a rapidly changing world.
Student leadership is critical to the overall development of individuals and the broader school community. PD Innovation and Leadership Academy is committed to promoting student leadership and empowerment in all students. Leader in Me transformative process will guide the school's vision on student leadership. The key features of Leader in Me include daily morning meetings that include a digital curriculum, universal school-wide school expectations, classroom and student mission statements, academic goals and individual data tracking and accountability, student leadership roles, student and adult lighthouse teams, action teams, academic leadership and culture, student voice and celebrations, student-led conferences, leadership days, ongoing support with the Leader in Me coach. Leadership will be visibly apparent at PD Innovation Leadership Academy, with every student in the school having either a classroom role or a school level role. By doing so, we believe that we not only teach students to lead, but also to find their voice and exercise their genius.
PDILA isn't just a school, it's a community endeavor. Through partnerships with local businesses, organizations, and stakeholders, we're creating a supportive ecosystem where every child can thrive.
Together, we are building a brighter tomorrow for Lake City.
Come soar with the Falcon family. Be a part of the Falcon difference.
Now we'll entertain any questions?
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Yes,
Could you describe, you mentioned about partnership with businesses. Can you describe what you hope that looks like?
Absolutely. So we actually have had several conversations, and we have great relationships in Lake City, South Carolina. So one of our biggest partners is the Lake City Boys and Girls Club, of really being able to have even possibly shared space, to share programs, to share ideas, to share resources. We have more botanical gardens there that will be partners with us. One of our partners is a part of our board, and that is our Lake City Community Resource Center.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what you plan to do in those partnerships? Are they contributors? Are they actually involved with the students? And then what are the students, would they be doing?
Both. So one of the things that we needed to be able to do is come here today and receive that approval. And upon approval, we're going to hit the ground running and circle back with those companies and those partnerships that we've had conversations with to say, here's where we are in the process now. And so we do expect them to be financially involved, to be providers for the school. We also expect for them to be partners. One such example is we met with a group of, a coalition group, and they talked about ways for us to partner with them, of them coming into the school, providing those enrichment opportunities for students, helping them to learn about those retail businesses, those healthcare industries, manufacturing at the elementary level, so that they have an idea in their head about it as they get ready to move into middle and high school.
Okay, one other question is, in your executive summary, you mentioned about personalized mentorships. Will that be for every student, and can you describe what that mentorship looks like?
So that is done through our Leader in Me program, which is done through our morning meeting, and that really guarantees every student an opportunity to have someone in that building that they are able to go to have a check-in or check-out. So the morning meetings provide an opportunity for students to share how they're feeling that day, to make goals for the day, to discuss issues, and each person either has an accountability partner, it could be another student, they could also have a mentor, which is an adult in the building.
Great. I think that's critical with our young people today, with so many absent fathers across our state, that we have a mentoring program. And so I know some folks that do that very well, and it makes a huge impact on the lives of young men especially.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
As I've reviewed, and of course you mentioned your time spent with Liberty Steam Charter and that advisory board opportunity that you have, that one of the things that they do very well is the academic daily tracker and for accountability, and how that has actually helped increase the other schools in the area. So I applaud you for really putting that into your plan, because as peer-to-peer teachers, educators, that level of accountability and being intentional with the scholars that you have is going to be so critical, because at the end of the day, it's about how we can increase our scholars, right? How we can make them better than where they are. So I applaud you for having that in there. And one of the little piece of advice, you probably have already had it if you met with Dr. Ivey, but we recently brought in industry, right? Had an industry day at Liberty Steam Charter where Duke Energy, for example, came in. They spent 3 times. They had one touch point, one whole entire day, 8 hours that they stayed at the school working with the scholars. Then they came back and they gave them a project and they worked on that again. Then they had a third point, and that last touch point allowed them to invest into the school. So I encourage you to be creative. I know your market. I know Lake City and something. So being very encouraged in promoting your opportunities through the workforce development.
Thank you.
Great words. Any other comments? Yes.
Did you say you
Dr. Pope?
serve a population of 70% minority?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Any other comments? Well, I'd like to make a few comments. Y'all, I cannot tell you how excited I am about what you're doing, and I'm sure you just don't know how great you're going to be, and I'll tell you why. This Leader in Me issue, it is like steroids. You see what I mean? You will not, you've seen it in other schools. I have seen it. It is unbelievable. I visited a school in, I think it was Somerville. This is probably like 8 years ago. They're doing Leader in Me. I saw a little boy who's probably about 8 years old. He was leading the group. They had to put the mic down so low because he was so small, and he's in charge of leading an assembly for a small part of it. And he was doing a great job. And you have got a tiger by the tail in this whole perspective and approach. And I just wanted to read to you this 2 quick things, just one quick thing from here. So this is Stephen Covey, as you all know, and his son Sean, who's worked with younger generations. So this is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In his final years, Stephen Covey's passion returned to the classroom. In the time since his death, he died. He recently died, but by the time since his landmark classic 7 Habits of Highly Effective People had been published in 1989, more than 500,000 educators, over 3 million students had been taught the 7 habits, mostly teens and university students. That thrilled Stephen, but what captured his energy even more was the excitement that was starting to bud at elementary schools. It began in 1999 at A.B. Combs Elementary in Raleigh, North Carolina, where some very creative teachers started teaching the 7 habits to elementary school children, even to 4-year-olds. What made their approach unique was that they were not just teaching the 7 habits as a curriculum, rather they were using the 7 habits as a framework for transforming their school's culture, which is what you've been talking about today. In listen to this. In very little time, A.B. Combs went from being a school in dire need of improvement to being the #1 magnet school in America. So I'm telling you, the energy is like this is like electric. This energy is its own loop. And I think what I love is I think it's consistent with the way God created us. And He created us to look up and to move up. And that's what this is about. And this is an amazing thing, and I can't wait to I'm coming to your school. I'm coming to your school.
So I
okay?
will share with you that I'm currently an elementary principal. Ms.
Yeah.
Bell is our instructional coach. We are a lighthouse school, which means we operate Leader in Me at the highest level.
I love it. I can't
So
wait.
we come to this with a lot of experience for Leader in Me.
It's really something. Take all the vitamins you can, because you're going to be whipping them up.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
In fact, we're the second school in the PD area that's a lighthouse school. That's how rare it is.
Additionally, one last thing. I just wanted to say how impressed I know we all are with the amount of partnerships and support in this community. It is amazing, the list that you have.
I'm not sure if you are aware or if you were able to see it. That video is started by our mayor. That's our mayor.
What about that? So, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, the video was a great idea and well professionally done, and it was very detailed. Like, okay.
Good.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, I just wanted to make a quick comment, as I've, mentioned to the other schools that have presented today. It's so exciting to see your passion for children and for education. And again, you had a choice on where to come, and I want to thank you for choosing the South Carolina Public Charter School District.
Thank you for allowing us to be here. We shared during our capacity interview that of all the authorizers that we went to, this felt like home. We felt welcomed from the moment we stepped through the door.
Great, thank you.
I just wanted to also make a comment. This district has been intentionally focused on providing more educational choice opportunities for the children that live in the corridor. And we call it the corridor of hope and opportunity. And I just appreciate the fact that you are wanting to create a school in an area that's been a focus of our district for the last 5 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we will proceed with the vote. Yes.
Got a roll call?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call. Yes.
Mr. Butcher. Mr. Butcher not voting. Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Davis votes yes. Mr. Gilchrist. Mr. Gilchrist not voting. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Miller votes yes. Mrs. Mosteller.
Yes.
Mrs. Mosteller votes yes. Mr. Page votes yes. Dr. Pope.
Yes.
Dr. Pope votes yes. Dr. Strickland.
Yes.
Dr. Strickland votes yes. Madam Chairman, the motion passes unanimously.
Yes.
Take a break? Okay.
Got a timeout. Oh, you can't get full credit. You can't get, there's.
I can't, good.
Don't, she can't get full credit. She's like,
Thanks, I can't get credit for my.
We're going to take a 5-minute break.
oh, I'll vouch for it. 20 miles off. I told y'all.
You know what? She has to come up by 20.
No, I tell you what, we had to come out of this.
I don't want to stand between me and lunch.
Yeah, you never complain when somebody's providing lunch, do you?
Okay, here we go. We will now move on our last school for the day, and that is the Pivot School application. Call again on Kristen Farmer. Thank you.
Thank you. PCSD staff recommends that the District Board of Trustees approve the charter school application received from the Pivot School. The Pivot School submitted a charter school application proposing to serve 200 students in 6th and 7th grades in its first year of operation, adding a grade level each year until it reaches full enrollment with 700 students in grades 6 through 12. With a proposed Aiken location, Pivot intends to prepare students for academic excellence through a career and technical education, or CTE, focus. Pivot's mission is to inspire a generation of socially conscious innovators who use their emotional intelligence and academic intellect to drive positive change in their communities and beyond. Through specialized programs in engineering, information technology, and other local industry needs, Pivot students will graduate with the technical skills critical for success in the 21st century world. Key findings related to the educational plan include smaller class sizes to enhance the effectiveness of career-focused offerings and collaborative projects, skill development in various career pathways through Pivot's Middle School Career Academy and through high school internships and apprenticeships, using deeper learning as the instructional approach, integrating CTE into course academic subjects, and incorporating project-based and personalized learning models, and developing social emotional competencies that support self-management, perseverance, collaboration, and a growth mindset. As to the applicant's organizational plan, notable findings include plans to engage and recruit additional board members with a vested interest in the school and the Aiken community. This aligns with Pivot's overarching philosophy to build with and not for. An administrative structure designed to facilitate effective leadership, collaboration, and efficient management, and a plan to track enrollment trends to evaluate which student subgroups are actively enrolling at higher numbers and subgroups that may need more intensive or directed marketing strategies. Key elements of the business plan include a financially sound budget that supports the school's vision and mission, a partnership with Veris CPA, a financial advisory firm, will provide guidance on budgeting, financial reporting, and compliance, ensuring that Pivot adheres to industry best practices and remains fiscally responsible. And 3 potential facility options are presented, all exceeding the 35,000 square foot threshold, allowing ample space for Pivot's middle school and CTE-focused high school programs. Based on a thorough analysis, the PCSD team has determined that the Pivot School demonstrates the capacity to sufficiently implement a high-quality charter school with a likelihood of success, and therefore recommends approval of the charter application subject to statutory requirements to negotiate an acceptable contract, pre-opening conditions, and any applicable addenda. We respectfully request a motion to approve the application from the Pivot School. Thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion to approve motion to approve the Pivot School application.
I move that we accept the application for the Pivot School as submitted by our staff.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Thank you. I invite the
Discussion.
group from the Pivot
Discussion.
School to join me.
We're going to hear from the team. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you guys so much for having us. My name is Anthony Bowden. I am the Executive Director of the Pivot Schools. To my right, would love to introduce our planning committee, Kara Simmons and Miss Amisha Blanton, who's done extensive work in the community, just making sure that we bring you guys a really good, high-quality charter school. We are missing one person, Mr. Paul Larkin, who served on our committee as well too. Unfortunately, he could not be here, but also sends his regards. Secondly, we just want to say thank you again for allowing us to kind of speak today and just tell you a little bit more about Pivot and what we're bringing. Backwards, I'm sorry. First, I also want to say we do not have a video. I wish we had one. That was really, 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 really remarkable. But we're going to just take a few moments of your time today. What is Pivot, right? What does Pivot stand for? What does it mean? For us, Pivot just signifies just a flexible and adaptable change to education. Education as we know it is changing. It's changing every single day. Communities are changing. Environments are changing. And we feel like schools should change as well too. And so for us, we take that challenge to change with the goal of improving education, right? Meeting the needs of students, right? And also understanding and responding to those needs effectively to new circumstances and challenges. But as we meet the needs of students, we first need to understand what the needs are, right? Our goal is to build with and not for communities. And I'll say that one more time because we stand firm on that. Our goal at Pivot is to build with communities and not for communities. A lot of times there are a lot of schools that come in and feel like, hey, we're already doing this, but the community may not need that, right? So you need to first understand what the needs are of the community. And we did just that. We had the chance to talk to a lot of different students on our journey, a lot of different community members, right? So when we're meeting with students, our first thing is like, hey, what is it that you want to see in a school, right? We don't tell them that we're a school, designing a school. We say, hey, we are consults coming in just to speak about schools and different things and needs, right? And so our question to students is, if you could design your dream school, what would it look like, right? So we group them and we have them think out loud and we have them present. Here are just a few of the ideas that our students in Aiken County have in mind for their dream school. As you look at this poster, you see different learning environments, what the school may look like, outdoor classrooms, big brother, little brother, community impact, right? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Wanting to be involved with student involvement, right? Initiatives and clubs, sports teams, technology, right? All of these different things. But one thing I want us to harp on right here where it's curriculum in class, it says real world classes. Now these are from our students, real world classes. This is what they want to see. I'll go to the next one. Success Academy was the fake name that they created, right? There's a 9th to 12th, they wanted a private school, right? But they wanted uniforms, they wanted really good technology, life readiness classes. How are we getting our students ready for life, right? This is things that they're asking for. Mental health, what does that look like? What does that feel like, right? Sports, recess, all of these other things, partnerships, critical, right? For us, we reach those goals through a 6 to 12 educational space for our students that transform education for a 21st century student. With our SEL and our CTE model, we know that we will be an amazing, high-quality charter school. Our innovative approach and our mission is to inspire a generation of socially conscious innovators who use their emotional intelligence and academic intellect to drive positive change in their communities and beyond. How do we do that? How do we approach our mission? We have a few bestsellers right here. This is what we go to. We use our CTE model, our hands-on model, early and often in the 6th grade. We're not waiting till high school to give students career and technical education. We understand that it starts early and often. Our career academy is second to none. Currently there is no career academy in the Aiken area that starts in 6th grade. There's nothing. So our career academy uses, and what we also like to say is, what are we doing every single day to bring students into the classroom? We use that through our career academy, where students can chase their vision, chase their goals, understand what career that they want to go to early and often. The purpose here is exposure. What do you like? What are you into? What's going to wake you up every single day and come into the classroom? Our daily SEL approach, again, second to none. Our students get that in the 6th grade. So we go back to the posters with our students. They wanted real world experiences. They wanted life. You get that in our Career Academy. You come back, you get the mental health piece with our daily SEL class. Both our Career Academy and our daily SEL class students will get every single day in the 6th grade. We're not waiting. Our 90 minutes ELA and math approach helps to close the gap, the academic gap that we see prevalent, right? Where most schools in the area are doing 60 minutes, we want to go 90 minutes to get small group and whole group experience for those students who may be struggling or may be behind, who have a deficit in ELA and math. And in 9th grade, our students start with our IT commitment to CTE and our STEM commitment to CTE as well. Lastly, our commitment and our mission and vision truly aligns with who the district is and what they want to be in the future. I think the last group spoke very highly of how when they came in for their informational meeting, it felt like home. And it was the same thing for us. We want Pivot to be protected and be in a place where all of our innovation is understood. And we felt like that was with the district. We thank you guys so much again for having us, and we hope to get approval.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Pope.
Where's the location that you plan to have the school again? And is there a partnership with Aiken Tech, since you're going to be talking about careers?
Yeah, so as you know, with the CTE focus, partnerships are really needed and is very pivotal and foundational for our success. And so we have started reaching out to Aiken Technical. The school will be inside of the city limits of Aiken, but we have started those ongoing conversations with Aiken Technical. We feel like they have a really good program down there that can really help us as well too. And they've been doing some really good things in the community.
And have you considered changing it from STEM to STEAM so you can include the arts?
Yeah, and so again, building with and not for, right? And so our goal too is to kind of just listen to the community and see what it is for them. When we did our initial research, we didn't see that there was an arts present there, and so we felt like STEM was our way.
Madam Chair, I want to commend you for the social, emotional learning intentionality there. I do know from the heartbeat of our governor, one of the things that I was even charged with about 6 months ago was his passion for mental health, health and fitness. And as you address mental health, you're going to be speaking to the heartbeat of the leaders of our state. And if you're intentional about that, there could be some extra sources of support there for you as you grow and what you're trying to accomplish. What is your background?
Yep, my background is in SEL, right? And so I was a school administrator for a number of years, got bit by the bug of feeling like, hey, what we're doing is not right for students. And I forged this journey of trying to start my own school and figuring it out, right? And so, yes, my background is in education.
Awesome. I just feel your passion, so I hope the scholars that you get a chance to impact can get it as well. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions? I have a quick question. Tell me about the parental buy-in for the school.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of buy-in. We were doing a lot of just walks, talks. We have a lot of different, we have a few different nonprofits that we were working with. Success Team, who has a really great leadership program for students down there. We were able to connect with them, and that is kind of where we did a lot of our work too. They get a lot of students, and so those posters that you saw were there as well too. And so for parents, we had a few different one-on-one meetings with parents and just holding those organizational meetings just to kind of let them know who we are and what we're about. I think we had over 450 commitments, just saying that, hey, we sign on to what the Pivot is. And so, yeah, we are super, super excited about parental commitment, but also ongoing too with our community co-design project as well too, which we'll do every semester. We'll bring parents in just to, again, get a feel for what's going on in the community, what's changing, what do we need to do as a school to change as well too.
Okay, thank you. As I looked up the word pivot in terms of education, this is not part of any other network, is it? Because there's pivot schools I see around the country, just different, they just must be choosing that name. I didn't see any indication that anything was connected like that, but I just wanted to ask.
Oh, no, we are a standalone school. I didn't know that that name existed.
Yeah, I just Googled that.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Perfect.
Well, any other questions?
Yes, I had one question and a comment. In looking at the notes in the organizational plan about the governing board, obviously you have a very small core board right now of 4.
Yeah.
And you're saying that you're going to grow it between 7 to 11. What do you foresee as your timeline for expanding the board to that size?
We are hitting the ground running right now. I think we have some board meetings today, right? We are looking at potential partners. Our biggest thing is mission and vision driven, right? Like, we understand how pivotal a board is and plays to our keys to our success, but also to mission and vision. Is this something that you truly believe in? Is this your core? Or is it just something that you just want to sit on and do, right? And so we want to weed out and test out those people who do not want to be here. We know we need hard workers as well, too, right? And so our vision is to do it ASAP. But again, we don't want to just choose anybody, right? We understand that this is, we have kids' lives on the line, and we don't want to do that. And so we want to make sure that it's right and feels right for us.
Great. Thank you. And as I've mentioned previously, obviously, you had a choice as a board as to what authorizer to choose. And I want to thank you for choosing the South Carolina Public Charter School District. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Randy. I had just one other question. On your submission is page 50, the academic goal number 3, which is a pretty strong goal. Pivot will attain a top 50 ranking in the state for student performance on standardized tests across all grade levels within the next 3 academic years. I mean, you must mean after the opening, obviously. But just say some things to me about that. That's a very tall order.
Yeah, if your goals are not high, then you're not shooting for them.
That's true.
Right? And so
That's true.
we have high expectations not only for our students, but for our staff, right? And so we want to get the best and brightest people in to get us to that goal, right? We didn't feel like that was an ambitious goal at all. We felt like we were right where we needed to be. It was truly understanding the community and its needs. We felt like that was a truly a really good goal for us to hit and set out and hit. And so, again, with our dedication to academics, our 90 minutes for our ELA and math, and a few other things that we're doing, we understand that we can truly hit that, and if not higher, right? I thought 50 was low, to be completely honest, yeah.
And that time frame expanded 30 minutes. Those children will get 30 more minutes.
30
Is that
extra
correct?
minutes.
Yeah, in both.
Yes, in both ELA
yeah,
and math.
Yeah, the
That is
central
correct.
core issues. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Are we ready to roll call vote?
We'll go to roll call. Okay, Mr. Butcher? Mr. Butcher, not voting. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Davis votes yes. Mr. Gilchrist? Mr. Gilchrist, not voting. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Miller votes yes. Mrs. Mosteller?
Yes.
Mrs. Mosteller votes yes. Mr. Page votes yes. Dr. Pope?
Yes.
Dr. Pope votes yes. Dr. Strickland?
Yes.
Dr. Strickland votes yes. Madam Chair, we have a unanimous vote on the motion.
I have no idea. It's a microphone. No, it's not ours.
Congratulations.
Now we get to hear about hard facts.
I will try my best not to put you
Yeah.
to sleep before lunch.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Nick Michael, District Finance Report Summary Period ending February. You know the drill. You do it. I won't even introduce.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. At the end of February, we expect 33.33% of the general fund approved budget to remain. We are currently at 35.87%. My report will show the district is bringing in more revenue than forecasted, specifically interest revenue from our investment account. On page 2, this is the district-wide income statement, which includes general fund, state-aided classroom revenue transferred to our schools. State-aided classroom is the majority of state revenue our schools receive under the new funding model. Through February 29th, the district received over $115 million in revenue, with total expenditures of over $113.4 million, which equals a net income of just under $1.6 million. Of the revenue received, over $110.7 million was sent to our schools under the new funding model, and for any that participate in the South Carolina retirement system. Our focus continues to be advocating for additional state funding since our schools don't get local support. All right, moving on to page 3. This report is the income statement for the district office only, which includes only general fund revenue recorded for our 2% authorizing fee, donations, interest income, and any other local sources. For the month of February, the district recorded over $391,000 in revenue, over $224,000 in expenditures, for a net income of over $166,000 for the month. Year to date, the district has recorded over $2.8 million in revenue, over $2.6 million in expenditures, for a net income of $218,132 for the year. This increases our estimated fund balance from $2,100,780 to $2,318,912, mainly due to the interest income received, which is over $40,000 in February and $139,000 year to date. As a result, we are able to invest the district funds, raise more interest, which will provide additional support at no cost to our schools. In the March report, our fund balance continues to grow because funding was updated with our 45-day membership and additional interest income. All right, moving to page 4, this report breaks out the district's budget and expenditures by department. Leadership has a budget of over $1.81 million, expenditures of over $1.1 million, with 37% remaining. Sponsor Performance has a budget of over $711,000, expenditures of over $407,000, with 43% remaining. Support and Implementation has a budget of over $899,000, expenditures of over $544,000, with 39% remaining. And lastly, Financial Services and Operations has a budget of over $650,000, expenditures of over $523,000, with 20% remaining. As I've discussed in the last couple board meetings, I will be presenting a budget amendment closer to the end of the year to balance the individual general fund accounts so we align with actual expenditures compared to what was budgeted. And then lastly, for my financial report, this report is generated monthly by the State Department of Education, and I'd like to point out that out of the $210 million allocated to the district, approximately $203.8 million falls under that state-aided classroom line, which is approximately 97.08% of the revenue. This concludes my February financial report, and I respectfully request board approval.
Thank you. Thank you. We need a motion to approve the February 2024 financial report. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? Any questions? Nick? No. Okay. Nick, as you go through that, you would tend to show us, point out any things that you saw as needing attention or positives and things like that. You would tell us those things, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. counting on you.
The budget that I'm presenting monthly we're only looking at general fund.
Yes.
So anything related to like our building fund, that's not included here.
Okay, thank you. And so now we have a motion to accept?
We need to vote on the.
Yeah, the roll call, yeah.
We don't need a roll call on this.
We don't, okay. I thought you wanted, okay. So we're going to take a vote.
Take a vote.
Yes, okay. All in favor to approve the February 2024 financial report, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Gosh, the ayes have it. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. Now we'll move on to H.
Okay, the first reading of the 24-25 general fund budget. Madam Chair and board members, the first reading of the budget takes into account the House version, adding 5 new K through 12 schools, 2 new Excel centers, expansion of the current Excel center, which those will serve adults over the age of 21, and increasing the minimum teacher salary to $47,000. On slide 2, this is a projection of the district-wide revenue of just under $240 million, which equates to over $5.1 million for the district office operations. That takes into consideration our 2% authorizing fee plus our interest income for the year of what we're projecting.
Okay.
Slide 3 focuses on our budgeting priorities, which includes a 3% salary increase, adding 2 special education FTEs to provide additional school support as we grow, planning for expiring COVID funding, and adding a line for capital improvement projects. The next slide displays expenditures broken out by individual cost objectives. Salaries has an increase of 18.51%. Benefits increases 30.97%. Purchase services increases 31.46% for a total increase of expenditures of 26.55% from the current year. All right, in this slide, this shows a balanced budget of revenue and expenditures. So we're taking the previous slides and just merging them together, where you can see that the revenues and expenditures increase from the current year to next year at $5.1 million or 26.55% increase. This concludes my presentation of the first reading of the 2024-25 budget, and I respectfully request board approval.
Thank you. We need a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024-25 budget first reading.
I move that we accept the first reading of our financial budget.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion?
Excuse me? Discussion?
Yes.
Yes, excuse me.
I had just a couple of quick questions. Obviously, I know we're moving some grant-funded positions to general fund. Is that really where we kind of see the huge increase, particularly among benefits, is increasing nearly 31%?
Yes, so there's actually 2 components to that. The salary and benefit piece goes up about the 19%, and that's based off of moving people from COVID funding to general fund. But then additionally, the benefits increase because there's an 11.8% increase in people costs for next year.
Okay, great. And then the other large one, the 31.46% in purchase services, is that something that we're doing differently in this new fiscal year that we didn't do this year?
It's the same situation. We're moving expenditures from COVID funding over to general fund.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, I do have a question. So the $47,000 for a new teacher, that is proposed, right? Not approved?
That is proposed based off of the House version. That has not been approved. And also keep in mind that our schools do not have to follow the state minimum salary schedule.
Thank you.
Yes,
Uh,
Coach.
In your projections, especially like state aid to teachers, I know they, that number, of course, all is tentative, as you stated. That
Yes.
things may change because I know the Senate version added more. I think they moved theirs to 47.5, and I know the schools don't have to follow that. But there, when they added that, there was some reduction to the state aid to classrooms, which will be there, and I know it'll last, but your projections are on the House version.
Yes.
Am I correct?
My projections are based off of the House version,
Right.
but it's a conservative projection.
Yeah.
The State Department is based off of the House version. The estimated per weighted pupil amount is just under 4,300.
Right.
And my projection's based off of 4,250.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Okay, any other questions? No? With that, we will now vote on to approve the budget and to, I'll restate the motion, and the chair will acknowledge any member. We've already gone through all that. So do we have a motion? We have, yes. Okay, so now
We've got the motion and the second, so we just vote. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All in favor to approve the fiscal year 2025 budget first reading, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick.
Madam Chair, I don't believe we have any informational items, so we'll proceed to the superintendent's report, particularly for sponsor performance. I'd like to touch on a few things, first starting with our data and accountability team. We have been busily working on our AFO index. As you recall, a couple of months ago, you approved as our new charter accountability system, the AFO index. We have continued that work extensively, as well as presenting at request to several of our schools' board meetings to talk about the AFO. So we've been very pleased with that. We've been working diligently to work with our schools on the school climate survey. This is a survey that is required under the federal and state accountability system that's administered to students, to parents, and to specific teachers every year, and goes into the report card. And I'm pleased to say that to my team's hard work in sending reminders after reminders after reminders, as of right now, we do have a much higher participation rate than we did last year. The last thing on the data and accountability is my team has wrapped up the data collections and verifications for every one of our schools' 135th day reports, and have provided those to our finance team, who will now take that and provide that information to the State Department. So we are pleased with that. Authorization, obviously, charter application season, and today, by and large, it's a wrap. And so I just wanted to take a moment and to express my sincere thanks to my deputy colleagues, my staff, my deputy staffs, and our external reviewers for all of the hard work. This is not a single person, or let alone my team. Each of these applications roughly range to about 1,000 pages. Figure 11 applications, that's 11,000 pages. We do our reading and do our homework, so my appreciation to them. We have also been reviewing our current school's goals and analyzing those for the AFO index, and are beginning to reach out to them to encourage them to update their goals, make sure their goals are smart, make sure their goals attend to what the Charter Act requires. As you know, we presented a couple of months ago our work on supporting our schools boards, and Ms. Grant continues to provide the monthly board newsletters. We've got a lot of positive feedback, and year to date, beginning with January the 1st, we have attended 39 of our schools board meetings, virtually or in person, so we're pleased with that. I do want to remind you, on June 11th, we will have our new school celebration from 11:30 to 1:30 here, where we'll bring our schools that you approved today, as well as back in March, to come in and to enjoy a lunch and a celebration, recognizing them as they start their cathedral building journey. And lastly, on July 24th, we will officially kick off our 2025 charter application season with a interested applicant workshop. So these are the people who have emailed us over the past months who've expressed interest. We invite them in the summer and do some training with them, and then they, of course, come back with any others for our November 15th pre-applicant training. Madam Chair, that concludes updates from sponsor performance.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Payne. Now we'll call on Emily Baker, Deputy Superintendent for Support and Implementation.
Good afternoon. I have two quick updates for you here today. The first is welcoming Ariel Eves to our team. She is our special education assistant. Ariel, you can stand. Ariel most recently joins us from the classroom and also serving her role as a mother. So we're happy to have her. She's been here about 3 weeks, and we are happy she continues to return each day. So, welcome Ariel to our team. The next item I have for you is an update, a legislative update. Read to Succeed, as you know, we've been hearing about it across South Carolina for about the last 10 years. And the General Assembly just passed Senate Bill 418 this March. We're now referring to it as Act 114. So I just wanted to give you an update today that we are tracking that. We're rolling out that information for our schools. The biggest items to share with you is that there's some inclusion of new items within this legislation. Previously, assessment items like universal screeners and formative assessments were handled through the State Department through proviso each year. They have now wrapped that into Read to Succeed. So we'll move out of proviso land for assessment, and that's now wrapped into Read to Succeed. There's also a greater focus on early intervention as well as parent engagement in this legislation. So a team of us, Rihanna, through her connection with our state reading coaches at the school level, Perry with his tie to certification, there's a piece there, as well as Diana with her tie to assessment. We are all building out a rollout for our schools so that by grade band they understand how this legislative update impacts them as they prepare for next school year. And that's all I have for you today without any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Emily, I have one quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, what you just talked about this legislation and how it impacts schools, I'd like to request a copy of that.
Sure.
I'd enjoy.
We actually plan to record it,
Oh,
so we
okay.
will make sure
Okay.
that gets to you. I'll make sure I get them through Marlene to you.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I recognize Emily Paul.
I would say good morning, but we've just missed it by a few minutes. I will be very quick for my strategic plan update. Our direction team continues working on the best practices library as well as staff policy and procedure reviews. The one big thing I wanted to share with you that has come out of our strategic plan, along with a lot of other things, is one of our tasks was to optimize our financial processes, and out of that, Nick's team has done a lot of shifting and moving of parts and pieces and making sure that we have a fabulously compliant financial system, but they're also now getting ahead of the track, and they're starting to do monthly financial analysis for all of our schools, which means that as they're looking at things and see little issues, they might be able to reach out, provide support before things go too far off track. So I'm really pleased to share that with you. I think we'll see some really great outcomes for that. And my last update is that we have a strategic plan retreat on May 16th from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock at Senate's End. You will get that in writing in your inboxes, but please plan to be there. That's where we're going to wrap up our year and our strategic plan and move into our new drafting of our strategic plan. Our strategic planning committee has done a lot of work kind of behind the scenes, gathering all the information, stakeholder feedback, and analyzing and putting some things together. So we will all work on that as a group on May 16th. Any questions for me?
Questions?
I have a question,
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Davis.
Emily, how are we providing the accounting support? Are we collaborating with each school's account representative?
For financials, I
Yes.
will ask Nick to come up and answer that. He thought he took his uniform off. He thought he was done. Nope.
Sorry about that. We actually have an Epicenter task. Epicenter is a system that we utilize to collect information from our schools. So within that system, we've created a monthly task where they have to submit their board-approved balance sheet and income statement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any more questions? No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Now for the man.
No, it's about the team, right? Let's see if I can figure this out. Down. Yeah, look at that. Well, good afternoon. It's good to be with all of you, and congratulations to the entire team on a successful application season.
Yeah.
I'm especially appreciative of John and Bridget and Kristen for the hard work. In all the years I've been associated with this district, both as superintendent but as a school leader and a consultant, this was the smoothest and most efficient application process we've ever had in this district. So thank you, John and team. And there were a lot of other people that were involved in reviewing applications on the staff and external reviewers and so forth. And then you, the board, you're the one that Marlene sends all this information to you, and you've got to review it and read it and decipher and interpret and understand, whether or not their mission aligns with our mission of putting all kids first. So I want to thank you, the board, for the time that, as volunteers, you put into this. Because as we always say, it always should be a high bar to get a charter in South Carolina. We don't just hand them out like trophies at the fair. And we're dealing with kids' lives and families. And so I just appreciate, the focus that you put on ensuring that they meet the mission, vision, and values and motto of our district. Also, I want to also ask Emily Baker to stand up. She is the first graduate from the District of Leadership, South Carolina, having just graduated last week. And that's something that I participated in many years ago. It's a wonderful program, and I would love to see board members, and I want to nominate other staff to participate in Leadership South Carolina. It's a great way to learn about all the different parts of our state, about different issues, policy, and communities. And I think Emily got great awareness. They live in a little bubble down there in Beaufort County, and so you have to get them out of there and get them to other parts of the state to realize how diverse the state is and all that's going on and the issues and challenges we have as a state. I also want to comment on the budget. Nick's done a good job putting together a conservative budget. I will tell you, there's a lot that has to still be worked out over at the State House on the state budget. Nobody really knows anything about the state budget. So we're basing it off of projections from the department and what the House did, but the Senate has their own ideas. It goes back over to the House. The House will have their own ideas again about what they see from the Senate, and then they'll duke it out in the conference committee. So there's still more to the story to be seen on the budget. But, we do want to continue to reward the staff. The cost of doing business continues to go up. The healthcare cost and all is a big hitter. And we can't do anything about that. But that's a benefit that we want to be able to continue to provide our staff. We'll get into the slides now. We do have some pictures. I like to talk from pictures. So a few weeks ago, we had the honor of being able to present to the Senate Finance Committee our budget presentation for the year. As you remember, we went in with a special ask for the Workforce Centers of Excellence and to grow those programs around the state. We also have been advocating, and Eric did a really good job shaping a bill that would give preference to military children. We already have preference for PSA down at Joint Base down in Charleston, but we wanted to give preference to all charter schools when it comes to military families, both active duty, guard, and reserve. And there's Secretary McCaffrey down there in the bottom right. He's the Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the state. And he and his team have been good partners with us, and there's a lot we're going to do in this area. We also had a wonderful event at the State House. April is the month of the military child, so we participated in the governor's proclamation for that event. And all the students you see there are students from Liberty Steam from Sumter. Whoa. And Dexter was there to join us. And it was a wonderful celebration, and we really appreciate the governor celebrating military children. As I tell people, I was a military child, and now I have military children, and so I can understand. Last week, Emily was able to represent the district at the Hilton Head Chamber of Commerce event, and she was on the stage with Chair Lady Erickson, and I met yesterday with Chair Lady Erickson, and she told me that Emily was a great representative for the district. So Emily, let's give you a round of applause. And then last Tuesday, many of the staff and I participated in the Charter Alliance conference here in Columbia, and it was a good opportunity for us to be with our school leaders, but other school leaders from around the state, and talk about all things charter. I think my closing remarks is something that I said to the staff the other day. We had our commitment meeting on Tuesday, which is our staff meeting. And, when we think about our district, we really are unique. We were created by the state. We are the state. We're the flagship public charter school district in South Carolina. So we have to be different because we have to uphold and protect the brand of the state of South Carolina. And that brand means that we represent all kids and families, and we want to give them a choice. And it really warms my heart to see the applicants that we've had this season, because for so long we've been talking about doing more in the corridor. And it's not easy work. It's hard because of a lack of resources. And so many of these communities are so impoverished, and there is no hope. And we are that beacon of hope for the state of South Carolina. And so to see these applicants come forth and to bring their unique, innovative solutions for each of these communities, that's a very positive sign and step. And so we're going to continue to stand up for our brand of putting kids first and being intentionally focused on the goal, the one goal in the Charter Act of closing the gap. And I think as long as we just stay focused on that, we're going to continue to attract new schools that want to go in the areas of the state where there's not educational market choice. And I want to tell you a little story that's related to that, but it has nothing to do with education. So I've had to be out a few times in the last few weeks because I got appointed to battalion command in the Army Reserve. But before you can take battalion command, you have to do what's called an inventory inspection. And basically, it's an accounting of every single piece of equipment, everything in the unit. Well, I'm taking over a battalion located in Minnesota that has units from the West Coast all the way to the Midwest, down as far south as Kansas and Iowa. Now, that's a different part of the country for me, and it's I think going to be an eye-opening experience. But all that to say, I had to physically go to these units with the outgoing commander, and it's to ensure that nothing was lost under his watch and to account for all that equipment so that I can record it, so when I leave my position in 2 years, the Army's not going to charge me, because that's the way it works, is you have to have a full accounting. And it's everything from every weapon to every truck to all the binoculars, every piece of equipment that these units have. So on Sunday morning in Minnesota, we were down to the very last truck. And I couldn't sign the assumption of command until we did this particular inspection of this last truck. And the truck had been kind of up near Fargo, North Dakota, near Fort Ripley. And my soldiers drove the truck down to Minneapolis to Fort Snelling, which is where I was going to do the inventory. And they gave me the inventory sheet, and it's not just looking at the truck or any other piece of equipment. There is a list of items that come with that equipment called a BOM. And it's basically a breakdown of all the different pieces that the military has identified that's important. It's not everything, but it's the important pieces. And so it came down to 8 bolts. That was the difference between the outgoing commander being able to leave and take the rank of colonel and me being able to come in and take his place and take command of the battalion. And I'm not a very mechanical person, just ask my wife. She does all the IT in the house and everything else that involves mechanics or technology. But fortunately, I had some really good soldiers who knew everything about that truck. So I showed them the picture, and by the way, the diagram of all these parts, it looks like my youngest son might have sketched them out. It's not great, and they're not color photos. It's not like out of the Sears catalog, as we used to say. But it was these these 8 bolts. And so I asked one of the soldiers, I said, look, we got to find these bolts. At first, they couldn't remember where the bolts were. And then one of them, another soldier came out of the building, and he came out and he said, sir, I know exactly where those 8 bolts are. He said, because I had to do this once before. And so behind these massive, this is an LMT vehicle, so this is a big truck. It hauls equipment and people. And behind these massive tires that are taller than this podium, we had to stick our heads through there in the top of the truck and see 4 bolts on each side that were holding these pieces of metal that I guess is important to this truck. I really can't tell you what it holds up. All I know is I needed to find those bolts, and I had to be honest about that report. But on the flight home Sunday night, I was thinking about this 2 weeks I did doing these inventory and all this equipment, and how the Army and the military are so, accountability is just key. And it's taxpayer money, and the taxpayers expect us to be accountable with every single piece of equipment. And so Sunday night when I was flying home, I started thinking about our district, and I was thinking about how does this apply to what we're doing in the district, and this is how I think it applies. And I think this is what is unique about this flagship district, is we care about every bolt. We care about every child. Every one of them, they matter. It doesn't matter where they fit in the different parts of the organization or the truck. What matters is that we're accountable to them, and we give them every opportunity to succeed in education and in life. And so it's an honor for this team and you all to be able to be together in this work, together in this unique school district in America and in our state, so that we too can be accountable to every child who aspires for something more than what they have today. So I wanted to share that story. I think it says something about who we are, and I think the applicants that we're getting, today is a reflection of all the hard work that this staff and you all have put into this district in our strategic plan and being committed to our mission and vision and values and motto. So thank you.
I just want to say we are so grateful to have you, and the depth and breadth of your leadership and your commitment to your own family and the families across South Carolina, that they have choice. And I just can't tell you, and I always say, you're small, but you're mighty. Look how many, and they're running the state, and they're running circles around it all, Right. So, yep. So we can't thank you enough. We're proud to be able to have the honor to sit here because of what you do every day and the vision you have and the detail that you know that I'll never know. I need to have a private class with John Payne so we can, I need to get a degree in this. But anyway, it's just a very positive thing, and it's a great state to be in, to do this, to have this mission and vision. It's just a great state. It's very synergistic and looking up, always ready to look up now, I think, ever more and more. So thank you, thank you. We all thank you all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I have a question if the superintendent would take it. Obviously, even today, as the various schools presented, the topic of transportation came up very often. And I know that the district had sent a letter to the State Department of Education regarding transportation. Have we heard anything back from the superintendent's office?
Not officially, but I did have a conversation with a member of her team yesterday who was here at the district office about our request of offering buses to our charter schools. It sounds like they're putting together a committee of folks and want to include us in that to have a kind of a brainstorming session about how that would work, ultimately with the goal of some kind of pilot program. But that's what I know today. But we will continue to be persistently asking on that and many other issues. You know, how can we get relief from the Office of School Facilities? Things like that. We're continuing to fight for the autonomy of our schools and continuing to fight for us to be exempt from a lot of the regulatory weight that comes with traditional education, because that costs our schools money, and that's money that can't go into the education of the child. But access is a key piece. But as Dr. Pope has said, it's not everything.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just have a statement. I want to applaud you, Mr. Superintendent, because having moved back to and grown up in what was defined as the corridor of shame, today was the first time I've heard it considered corridor of hope. So I think that verbiage alone says a lot about where we're headed.
Yep. Okay. Do you have a motion to adjourn? Ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if I'm really in favor of adjournment. We can stay a little longer.
We do have lunch.
Okay, oh, that's a good. That's
Yeah.
good.
We're rarely in
Okay,
favor of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really in favor.